Here's the thing. Some people are just natural born spenders. Give them some money and poof, it's gone. But anyone can change their ways. Heck, if I can do it, anyone can. So if you're a spender, it doesn't mean you can't also be a saver. In fact, there are some easy ways for spenders to get started with saving money regardless of their habits. In this episode, I'm sharing 5 easy ways for spenders to save money and actually keep it in their savings. I am all about making life easier wherever I can, and I'm also about helping you do the same. If you're a natural born spender who struggles to save money, don't worry, I got you covered. Before we get into the easy ways spenders can save money, I want to take a minute to answer the City Girl Solutions question that came in. As a reminder, you can go to citygirlsavings.com/QA to ask me a question and I will answer it live on the podcast. So the question that I am answering today is, what are you currently reading? So I'm always reading, so I love this question. I shared this in my goals for this year, but one of my goals for 2023 was to read 12 books in the year. And so I have already finished The Startup Wife in January, The Psychology of Money in February, People We Meet on Vacation in March, and High Trust Selling in April. And at the time of this recording, which is in May, I'm reading The Hotel Nantucket by Elin Hilderbrand. I actually love Elin Hilderbrand's books. I've read quite a few of them. She has the perfect summer reads, but she also has really great winter reads as well. So it's great so far. Highly recommend it. And even the other books that I listed, I highly recommend. Now, you may notice a little pattern. I go from fiction to nonfiction, fiction to nonfiction, and that's because the goal of reading 12 books really consisted of 6 fiction and 6 nonfiction. So that is what I'm currently reading. So let's dive into all of the ways spenders can start saving money. But before we do, I just want to make sure that you understand the importance of saving money in general, okay? Whether you are a spender, a saver, neither, right? I want everyone to understand how important it is to just start saving money. So there are plenty of reasons why people should be saving money, but I think the most important and probably the most obvious reason is financial security. And obviously, the level of financial security will be tied directly to the amount in your savings, but any savings, any amount, anything saved up can help you feel secure. The thing is, life is filled with unexpected events. I mean, just listen to episode 1 of this podcast where I talk about going from big city spender to city girl saver to hear all about the curveballs life threw me. I'll make sure to link to it in the show notes. So my point is, though, some of the unexpected events that come up in your life or in anyone's life may be financially related and others not so much. But in terms of the unexpected events that do have money tied to them, having something in savings can truly take the edge off. If you have funds set aside for unplanned expenses, you don't have to stress about how you're going to take care of that unexpected event. You also don't have to worry that a bill won't get paid. You don't have to worry about not being able to put food on the table. You can breathe a little easier knowing you have funds to help you cover that cost. I cannot stress the importance of having an emergency fund enough. You will not be sorry you have one, especially when you need it. Okay? I am getting off the high horse. I hope that stresses how important it is to have something saved. So now let's talk about easy ways for spenders to start saving money. Okay, my first tip is this. Start with a small amount to build consistency. When you are getting started on your savings journey, and you're in this journey for the long haul now, right? It's not the amount that counts. It is the consistency. I want you to build a repeated pattern of saving money. And the best way to do that is by starting small with amounts that you won't even miss. So to help you decide on that amount, ask yourself a few questions. Am I currently saving money consistently now? Is that a small enough amount to leave alone? If I'm not currently saving now, what number can I start with? Even if it's $5 a paycheck, the goal is to build the consistency with your savings. Now, I want to just spend a little bit more time here because if you answered, yes, I am currently saving consistently now, but the amount that you're saving, you are constantly taking it back out, transferring it back to your checking, then it is not a small enough amount for you to leave alone, right? But if you were saving $5 a paycheck, which is if you're paid biweekly, $10 a month, you are likely not going to transfer out $10 to help you cover your spending. On the other hand, if you're saving $100 a month, you may transfer that out. So really get clear here on an amount that is small enough for you to just leave alone. We just want to keep adding the $5 every paycheck to build the consistency. Now, everybody's number is going to look different. $5 is just an example, but if it is $50 for you, that's fine. Whatever the amount is, let's go ahead and get the automatic transfer set up. Once you've decided on the amount, it's time to take action. So set up your automatic transfers. And this can be done from checking to your savings or directly from your paycheck. Now, that leads me into my second point, or my second tip, I should say, which is to have your savings direct deposited. So an easy way for a spender to start saving money is to have whatever amount they decide that needs to be saved automatically direct deposited from their paycheck to their savings. I recommend this so much because it takes all of the work off of you, and you literally just set up that direct deposit, and once it's set up, you're done, right? Like you don't even have to see the money hit your checking account and then go to savings. No, it goes directly from your paycheck to your savings. And if you can have this small savings amount automatically deposited into your savings from your paycheck, it also saves you, like I said, the hassle of actually seeing the money in your checking account. Out of sight, out of mind, you do not have a chance to miss it. Now, I do know that some employers don't allow for multiple accounts when setting up direct deposit. So if that's the case for you, it's okay. Automatic transfers from checking to savings can still work for you. Just make sure you set up the transfers or you schedule the transfers around your pay period. So if you get paid every single Friday, for example, your transfer needs to happen the day you get paid, right? We don't want that savings sitting in your checking account just waiting to be spent. Moving right along, another easy way for spenders to save money is to function on a cash-only basis. The great thing about using cash for your spending is the fact that you actually have a physical limit, like literally. Once the cash is gone, there should be no more spending until more cash is received when you're paid again next. I actually have a lot of my clients leverage cash-only spending, especially if they're swipe happy, so that they can get familiar with sticking to limits and controlling their spending and thinking about their purchases, right? When you physically have to part with your cash, like you really ask yourself, do I want to do this? It can be a very effective strategy when trying to just get a grip on spending in general. So maybe you're wondering, well, how do I make cash only spending work? I recommend looking at your budget to see what you can afford to spend on groceries, gas, and fun spending each pay period. Okay, so those are variable and discretionary categories. So get clear on what you can or want to afford to spend on those things. And then once you have that number, pull that amount out in cash and use it for those specific items. So feel free to break out the envelopes. The envelope system is very effective, and use that to easily track and manage the cash. So if you know you'll be spending money that day, leave your debit and credit cards at home and take your cash with you. And just remember, when the cash is gone, the spending needs to stop until you get paid again. Obviously, if there is an emergency, you'll need to spend money, okay? Like I'm not sitting here telling you don't ever spend, but the point is to build up the discipline to stick to your limits, right? Like emergencies happen, I get it, but an extra Starbucks coffee that wasn't planned for is not an emergency. Although I I may have to think about that, but you get my point, right? In the end, cash is a great way to help yourself stick to your limits, to build up that discipline. As you save more money, you can always increase your cash spending limits too. So don't think that whatever you set up right now needs to stay that way forever. Okay, next way spenders can save money. Make sure your savings account is separate from your checking. If you want to avoid tapping into your savings, make that savings hard to get to. I personally love high yield savings accounts. I've talked about them on this podcast many times. They are accounts that are offered through online banks like Ally, Synchrony, or SoFi. And not only is it harder to get to your money, but you earn significantly more in interest. So to access the money in a savings account that is in a bank away from your checking, you really need to think about if you need the money. The act of getting the money has a few extra layers, so you'll have to ask if it's really worth it. And if it is, then obviously you move forward with getting the money. If it's not, then you leave the money exactly where it is. When your savings account is attached to your checking, it's so easy to just transfer money in and out, back and forth, right? And that is what we're trying to avoid. Unless you absolutely need the money, there should not be transfers back and forth. So make your savings hard to get to by having it in a totally different place than where your checking account is. And the final tip I have, or the final way spenders can save money, is to start tracking your spending. Now, if this sounds daunting or intimidating, know this: I am not telling you to stop spending, okay? I am not telling you that you can't have what you want, okay? So let's just wipe the slate clean and start there, okay? I'm not saying don't spend. All I'm saying is track what you do spend. That's it. Whatever you decide to spend, okay, fine, but track it. When you track your spending, you actually see where your money is going. And when you see where your money is going, this allows you to make a conscious effort to change where it's going in the future. When you see that you spent $300 going out to eat last week, you can say, wow, okay, well, guess what? I'm going to cook this next week. I'm going to eat at home this next week. You wouldn't make that decision had you not known you spent so much going out to eat the week before. A part of my one-on-one money coaching program includes an expense tracking system that I actually require my clients to follow. And this is game changing, okay? I mean, imagine finding out that you're spending $400 a month on Amazon and your nightly scrolls, right? Even if you saved half of that, it could be a game changer for your savings account. So notice how I said, well, hey, you don't have to stop spending that $400 a month, but let's limit it to $200 and save the rest. You wouldn't know that unless you tracked. So please make it a point to keep a closer eye on your spending. That's it. Not saying don't spend, but as you start reducing the spending you do, you just get to put more into your savings. If you are a natural born spender, I want you to know that you are capable of saving money. It does not have to be one or the other. It doesn't have to be you are a spender or you are a saver. You can be both. I am living proof of that. I am a saver, but I also am a spender. But I spend with intention. I spend on things that matter to me. I spend with the understanding of how much I can afford to spend on those things. So you can have both. You can be both. And hopefully you can start implementing at least one of the tips I gave today so that you can start seeing your savings grow. Even a little at a time makes a huge, huge, huge impact on your confidence, on your belief system, and on your savings account. Now, go save that money, honey.